we are going to start talking about drawing angles. It's helpful to know a couple things about your circle first before we start to draw things. Remember, so we're going to start in the first quadrant. So this is 0 degrees. And remember that 180 degrees, which you know from geometry, is equal to pi. And then we're going to come back around to obviously finish the circle at 360 degrees, or 2 pi. But there are also two other, which breaks us into first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant, which we will talk about a lot later on, the different quadrants. But what you need to know is that if we have half of 180, remember how we have this 90-degree angle right here. So this is going to be 90, and 180 plus another 90, this is going to be 270. So if we have pi, this is then going to be half of pi, so pi over 2. And between pi and 2 pi, this is 1.5 pi's, or we say 3 pi over 2. That is helpful when it comes to drawing angles, because you kind of need to know the different quadrants so you can have an idea of where you're going to end up. So we're going to draw a couple examples. First one, 270. 270 is perfectly divisible by 90. 270 is this down here, but I have to start on the x-axis in the first quadrant and go around this way, so that's going to be 270 degrees. Okay, why did I say it was helpful to kind of split this into 90 degrees? So here I have an angle that's negative 60. So since it's negative 60, I'm going to go in the clockwise direction. And what I need to understand about this angle is that 60 is not yet 90 degrees. So I have not yet moved past into the second quadrant going negative. I'm not past this line here, because 90 degrees isn't bigger than the 60 that I'm going. So you kind of have to divide it into 90, 90, 90, and 90. So you kind of have an idea of where to judge where your angles are going to be drawn. So 410. I think of 410, wow, that's bigger than 360. That's bigger than an entire circle. So what I have to understand is I'm going a full circle around. So one full circle around plus another 50 degrees. So that's going to end me in the first quadrant, because 50 doesn't quite get me to 90. And I'm going to end here in this first quadrant. I have to understand that I'm going a full 360 degrees plus an additional amount. Okay? And one last one, if I have negative 140. Now that takes me over that 90 degree mark, but not over the 180 degree mark. So I'm going negative, I'm going clockwise. So I'm going to be over this 90 degree mark. I'm 50 degrees still going, so this is 90 and 140. So I'm 50 degrees into, so 90 plus 50 is going to get me about that part. And I do have to draw the arrow so I understand that I'm going negative instead of going in a positive direction. Okay. Okay, so now we have a problem where we want to draw the angle in standard position and then also find a coterminal angle. So 230, if I think about 230, 230 is larger than 180, but yet smaller than the 270 if I break it up into the 90s. So I'm going to go 90 degrees, 100. Let's get a pen working here. 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 is going to, or 230 is going to be another 50 degrees into the third quadrant. So that's roughly what 230 degrees would be. And if I want to have a coterminal angle, I'm a full circle around. So I can either be 230 plus 360, which would be 590. So if I drew a 590-degree angle, we'll do it in a different color, I would be one full circle around plus then the other additional 230 degrees. Or I could be 230 minus 360, which means that I would actually be an angle that's negative 130. So I would have started at the x-axis in the first quadrant, and I would have gone this way, and I would have had the angle that has its starting position and ending position at the same place.